You're listening to Business Success in a Virtual World podcast. If you are a leader navigating these new immersive technologies, this is your definitive resource to understand the innovative power of XR, VR, and AR. I'm Tim Beharon, Chairman of Creative Strategies, and I'm joined by Barton Goldenberg, President of ISM Guide. In each episode, we navigate through new products, effective strategies, and highlight actual business case studies implementing extended reality into business processes. Our resource website now boasts over 300 case studies, 300 articles, and 100 videos presenting successful examples of businesses using these technology in field service, training, digital twins, customer service, in medical and manufacturing, and so much more. Check out the website at ismguide.com. Now, on to the next episode. Well, this week, we're going to look at a company that we profiled early, about a year and a half ago, by the name of Procter Gamble. And since that time, they have become even more immersed in what they're doing with VR and, more importantly, elements of spatial computing. And Barton last week began looking deeper at Procter Gamble. And so this week, he's going to share with us what he's found about the new steps that Procter Gamble are taking to make spatial computing work for them as a part of their business process. So Barton, to you.
Thanks, Tim. By the way, the case study that we wrote for our podcast on Procter & Gamble, believe it or not, Tim, dates back to March 2nd, 2023.
Wow.
So we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary for that.
Excellent.
So listen, as Tim said, we're going to look at Procter & Gamble and the spatial computing side. I actually think they're really pioneering users in many of the spatial computing technologies, and I'll share why. So I'll talk about the company, as you may know it, as Pepto-Bismol or Tide or Tampax or Old Spice or Gillette, and that's all a part of the Procter & Gamble family. Let me just tell you a little bit about the history. It started in, I think it's 1888 or 1838 with candle maker William Procter, who was born in England, and soap maker James Gamble, who was born in Ireland. They both come to America. They emigrate to America. They settle in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they both date and marry two sisters, Olivia and Elizabeth Norris. And the dad of these two girls, his name was Alexander, not important, persuades his two sons-in-laws to become business partners, and thus Procter & Gamble was created in 1837. Let's bring it right up to date. In 2024, Procter & Gamble had annual sales of $84 billion. Put into perspective, that's $4 billion more than the case study we did 2 years ago. So this is a company that continues its march forward. It sells products globally. 50% come from North America, which is America and Canada, and the remaining 50% come from outside of the States, outside of North America. 5 divisions, and this is important because they use the various spatial computing differently within the divisions. Fabric and home care, you'll know it as Tide and Cascade and Free Breeze and Mr. Clean. There's the baby, feminine, and family care division. You'll know it as Pampers and Tampax and Bounty and Charmin and more. There's the beauty division. You'll know it as Head and Shoulders and Pantene and Olay and Old Spice and more. There's the healthcare division. That'll be known brands such as Crest and Oral-B and Pepto-Bismol and Vicks. And then there's the grooming division, which you'll know as Gillette and Venus and Braun and more. You know, when I read that list, Tim, it's amazing. We use a Procter & Gamble product at least once every day of our lives. It's one of the world's leading consumer goods companies. It's been recognized for its commitment to innovation and research-driven strategy to enhance both their own operations, but also very much their customer offering. For more than 5 years, P&G has embraced cutting-edge technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, extended reality, and most recently, as you would expect, artificial intelligence to bolster both, again, its market position and streamline the processes across various assets of the 5 divisions I just talked about. So these technologies, the spatial computing technologies, is really critical tools in P&G's digital transformation journey. It enables them to better connect with their consumers and, as I've already alluded to, optimize internal operations. By integrating VR and AR, Procter & Gamble has revolutionized product development, consumer interaction by creating immersive experiences that allow customers to virtually try products on before they purchase them, providing an interactive and engaging customer experiences. Similarly, on the XR side, they're leveraging XR technologies, the combinations of VR and AR, to simulate realistic environments for employees and training and skill development, ensuring that workforce remains adept at the latest practices and technology. P&G did an interesting experiment. Tim and I were both there on what was it? It was at the Consumer Electronics Show in 2020, so 5 years ago in Las Vegas, and they introduced something called Life Lab. And Life Lab, it was the real, I think they won, some big awards at that year's CES. But it was an immersive hub where a consumer could learn about their products and interact with personnel from P&G's brands, but in a complete immersive world. So everything was done with an avatar. And it was all about showcasing consumer P&G commitment to innovative design and disruptive technology. Thousands of people visited Life Lab over a 3-day CES event. And P&G confirmed that each visitor spent on average 20 minutes inside a Life Lab booth learning about P&G products. That compares to an average consumer spending 7 seconds reading a P&G ad or 30 seconds watching a P&G ad. And think about that for a moment. 15 or 20 minutes on average versus 30 seconds or 7 seconds reading or listening to an ad. To learn more about Life Lab, by the way, I do encourage you to go back to our March 2nd, 2023 podcast. That's when we lay out what exactly happened in Life Lab, which was a huge success for Procter & Gamble as they really entered the immersive world at that time. Given the increasingly important symbiotic relation between AI, VR, AR, and XR, I would be remiss not to mention how P&G is now increasingly leveraging AI to harness the power of data-driven insights to enhance supply chain management, personal marketing, product design, and ultimately operational efficiency. And you'll see in a moment how they're achieving better customer satisfaction using AI tools. But let's go kind of one at a time. Let's go to the VR side. So they're using VR for mostly product development and testing. So they've been leveraging VR to revolutionize that department by integrating VR technology into creating realistic simulations of products, which then allows their global designers and global engineers to virtually interact with each other, modify the product before the physical prototypes are actually produced. Needless to say, that decreases time and costs associated with additional prototyping, but also allows for a more agile development cycle. And that's very, very important. VR also allows for the assessment of design features and usability, providing valuable insight into potential improvements very early on in the process. The product testing in a virtual environment facilitates a broader range of scenarios, offering P&G the ability to now analyze customer interaction in a variety of conditions that might be challenging to replicate in the real world testing. So they've integrated the whole design and customer testing through an immersive world. By immersing test users in a virtually constructed environment, like they did in Life Lab, for example, P&G can observe genuine reaction and gather data on user behavior, preferences, potential pain points. And what the immersive technologies do is they anticipate customer needs and allow them to refine products to better meet those customer needs. It's actually very interesting. And lastly, VR enables the collaboration across geographically dispersed teams within P&G. So now, as I've alluded to, team members interact and share a virtual space, discuss and modify designs in real time, streamlining communication, enhancing creativity, just getting a better design in a quicker and a better manner. So this application not only optimizes product development pipeline, but it also supports P&G's commitment to innovation and quality in meeting customer expectations. That's the virtual reality side of currently how P&G is using it, mostly for product development, testing, and customer interaction. When we go over to the AR side, augmented reality, So P&G is largely enhancing the customer experience using AR. And they're at the forefront of integrating innovative technologies to enhance the customer experience for some time. And now by leveraging AR applications, they're revolutionizing the way consumers interact with products. P&G is offering more personalized and engaging experience. So AR technology enables P&G to overlay digital content onto the real world. That then allows the customer to visualize products in their own environment before making a purchase decision or educating them about the product. This is particularly impactful in the beauty and healthcare segment, where consumers can use AR tools to virtually try on products such as makeup or see how specific shampoo formulas might benefit their particular hair type. With the use of advanced image recognition and AI, the AR applications are providing highly accurate and realistic simulations and enhancing customer trust and customer satisfaction. P&G, lastly, is using AR to offer in-depth tutorials and educational content. For example, consumers can point their smartphone cameras at a product to receive a step-by-step guidance on its use, ensuring they get the most out of their purchase. This interactive approach not only adds value, but also strengthens brand loyalty by creating memorable and personalized experiences. By investing in AR technologies, P&G is setting new standards for consumer engagement, making shopping more informative and interactive, and aligning with evolving preferences in digital savvy shoppers. You can hear a little chuckle in my voice. It's because my 25-year-old daughter dropped me a text this morning in WhatsApp. She said, "Dad, the it's called eSIM, electrical simulator. If you have a bad back or something, you can put on your back." She said it's broken. The battery doesn't work. And I had to write her back and say, you probably want to look inside the bag. You'll probably find a charger, and you might want to charge the battery before you try to use the eSIM. And I was just laughing because this is a 25-year-old who should have known all of this and not had her old man send her this note. Had it been a P&G product, she would have put her glasses on, her AR glasses, and it would have walked her through how to get this product up and running. Let me talk a little bit about extended reality, which for many of you, and even for Tim and I, this is an emerging field, but it's combining VR and AR. Tim might talk a little later or even now about kind of really what is XR as it moves forward, but they're using extended reality P&G to streamline operations and enhance efficiency around various departments. And they're really using the XR on streamlining operations. So they're optimizing supply chain management, manufacturing processes, and that's all leading to increased productivity and reduced costs. P&G is also leveraging these technologies to enhance training programs for employees, allowing them to simulate real-world scenarios and gain practical skills without the risk of traditional training methods and risk and cost, I should say. Immersive training improves retention and helps workers quickly adapt to new processes or machinery. Moreover, P&G is utilizing extended reality to improve maintenance and repair workflow in their facilities. So technicians can put on AR glasses, overlay digital information on physical equipment, providing them instant access to necessary information such as schematics or real-time data, which then expedites troubleshooting and reduces downtime of the machine. VR tools are also employed for collaborative product design, as I've alluded to, testing, enabling teams from different locations to work together. By providing these 3D prototypes in a virtual space, what P&G has done is they're reducing the time and resources spent on physical prototypes. And that then allows, once you bring in the AI component, that complements the XR technologies, offering data-driven insights to predict equipment failure and optimize logistics, further enhancing the company's operational efficiency and maintaining that competitive edge. Let me talk for a minute, if I may, on just AI. I'm not going to go into great detail, but as I've alluded to, given the symbiotic relationship between AI and XR, AR, VR, one would be remiss not to talk about how they're leveraging AI at this time. So P&G are breaking new grounds in their use of AI to gain deeper market insight and enhance their business strategies. Needless to say, by analyzing vast amounts of consumer data, AI enables P&G to understand customer preferences and behavior with greater accuracy. The company harnesses machine learning algorithms to predict trends, refine their marketing approaches, ensure they stay ahead in competitive landscape. Just as an example, AI tools can process social media interactions, online reviews to gauge public sentiment about their products, which then allows P&G to adjust their marketing tactics in real time. This is something that could have never happened before. In addition to understanding the current market dynamics, AI is helping P&G anticipate future trends, which enables them to proactively create products to meet customer need. By utilizing predictive analytics, P&G can optimize product development process, streamline their supply chain, reduce costs, and enhance efficiencies. Moreover, AI-driven data analysis supports P&G in identifying the underserved markets, directing their attention to potential areas of growth. And for those that may not know, P&G is unique in different parts of the world with formulations. It may be the same product, but they are trying to really meet the unique niches with unique brands and unique products in a particular area of the world. And AI helps them identify these markets. AI also facilitates personal marketing strategies. By tailoring advertising and promotion to individual preferences, P&G can increase engagement and customer loyalty. Data-driven insight empowers P&G to then make informed decisions, not only to enhance customer satisfaction, but to cement their position as the leader in the consumer goods industry. Let me close, Tim, on kind of the future. What is the horizon, and how is P&G moving forward? And to sum it up, it would really be to say they're really beginning to integrate all of these emerging technologies. So P&G envisages a more immersive and efficient ecosystem driven by these technologies. With VR and AR, Procter Gamble is set to enhance product development and consumer engagement. The integration of these technologies allows designers and engineers to visualize products in virtual environments, facilitating quick interaction and more precise adjustments. This streamlines the development process, ultimately reducing time to market. For consumers, AR offers a very interesting interactive experience, especially with these smart glasses now, enabling them to visualize how products fit into their everyday lives before making a purchase. XR goes a step further by offering new dimensions in training and collaboration. Virtual environments allow their employees to undergo realistic immersive training without geographic constraints, improve learning outcomes, foster innovation. AI, on the other hand, plays a pivotal role in data-driven decision-making. By analyzing consumer data, AI algorithms can predict purchase trends, optimize supply chains, and personalize marketing strategies. As P&G continues to weave these technologies into its fabric, it positions itself at the forefront of innovation, ready to meet the evolving needs of consumers. In closing, I would observe that P&G, an $84 billion company, has woven VR, AR, XR, and now AI technology into every part of their business, from how they design and manufacture and source and train and bring products successfully to market. And through these innovations, this 188-year-old P&G not only maintains its competitive edge, but it sets the benchmark for the consumer goods industry, illustrating the transformative impact that technology can have on traditional business practices. Back to you, Tim.
You know, this is, of course, fascinating because as a global company with leadership position for decades, they're taking a very strong view of the role of AR and VR, or XR as we call it, and making it an actual integrated part of the business process as well as the customer experience. And two things struck me in your commentary there. One, of course, is the fact that they're using it for development, and the idea of being able to create it digitally in VR before turning it into a manufactured product is very important. And we've shared various examples of that. For example, Siemens did this, where they built their entire new factory in Germany in XR before they actually laid the blueprints down for the physical factory to be built. And it appears that, at least from what you said, that Procter and Gamble, are doing fundamentally the same thing. One of the things about Procter and Gamble that's so important is packaging. You could do an immense amount of stuff in VR in the context of playing around with design, because packaging in their particular world is incredibly important as a part of the overall process. The second thing that struck me is the discussion you had with your daughter and the idea of potentially tying that to the smart glasses. Barton and I have been actually doing a lot of work and thought, and I've been doing a lot of writing on smart glasses lately. I've been testing three or four of them, and having those glasses on my face with basically the ability to get answers and instantaneously. If Procter and Gamble had, for example, a AI app specifically for their products, I could be taking a look at one of these things, for example, something with a battery, and fundamentally being walked through the inboarding process. And that's very forward thinking right now. Even though smart glasses are in their infancy, I'm convinced that they are going to be a dominant force within the next 5 years. And I think that every company who's doing a product needs to do and use AR to actually help a customer understand the product. I could have used that with some of the AR glasses, which are very complex still, and I'm having to walk through and listen, or literally read their actual manuals instead of it, going through the experience. Anyway, I'm just fascinated with Procter and Gamble in general, and as you said, we probably all of us use something from them once a day. Now, having said that, and talking about where they tend to go, do you sense from what you read and the discussions that you've had and looked at what Procter and Gamble's doing, is that they not only will have this leadership position, but is going to have a significant influence in the consumer market?
Yeah, Tim, it's as I did my homework and talked to people and so forth about P&G, I came to conclude that the whole XR and now increasingly AI and the integration of the two, this is simply a way of doing business for Procter and Gamble. And so internally, it's just adopted by all and utilized by all. What I think is very interesting, you've already hit upon it, and I wanted to mention it. Let's just assume, and I actually think you're very right, and I would encourage you to read all of Tim's recent columns on smart glasses. They're brilliant. But let's just assume that people really do adopt smart glasses as a kind of a normal thing, and they got to always have a pair in their upper pocket in their purse or whatever it may be. And whenever they go into a store and they're just curious, they put them on and they go over, let's just say, to the beauty and personal hygiene or whatever, and they look at a product and through whether it's however they might do it through a QR code or whatever it may be, up comes a whole story about that product and where it's manufactured and what percentage of it is recycled plastic or whatever it may be. And you get a whole story about that product and service. And then you might look at another product and it's not so much the QR code, but it's overlaid with information about whatever may be important to you on that particular product. I foresee that Procter and Gamble will lead the charge in consumer intelligence and consumer adoption of new knowledge coming from AR glasses in the buying sense. And I think that once you've got this level, as P&G does, of XR, VR, AR established as how you do business, and now that you're overlaying AI to really gather more and more and more consumer data, and as AR glasses emerge, and I think they will, as you've alluded to, Tim, within the next 5 years becoming standard to what we wear, I think P&G is actually going to lead the charge and drive the consumer to put these glasses on and learn more about products and services. And I think you'll see P&G products take off in terms of revenues as a result.
Yeah, in certain areas it's even more conducive. For example, in the beauty area, when you go into Macy's and you want to buy a new face cream or even a perfume, they have actual salespeople who will do a demo with you, right? Where they'll take the cream and put it under your eyelids and, etc. and walk you through it. But imagine in a virtual world, that process is done through the glasses. And it may not be visually at first. We are going to see the video screen on our glasses in the next 3 to 5 years. But even if it's just an audio where you pick up one of their products and it says, here's how you use it. And those type of videos, by the way, are popping up on TikTok, on Instagram, etc. now. But that's really nice when you buy it and then take it home. What if you have it as a part of the understanding the sales process? And that's why it's what you just said is so important. I think that knowing that Procter & Gamble's already at the center or putting VR, XR, and AI as a center of their business process, they're not only going to lead the way, they're going to drive the industry in that particular direction. And you're going to see a competitive side from others who are going to just try to stay up. But them having this kind of a lead is really a big deal.
Well, I'd even go a step further. If we went back to LifeLab, I actually spent a lot of time in the booth and I really liked it. Part of purchasing consumer products is the fun side of the product. Am I going to look prettier? Am I going to have a better shave? Am I going to smell better? I mean, there's all kinds of emotions involved, right? So there's a fun component of this. And in the LifeLab, I just remember very, very well the Gillette as well as the Crest and Oral-B booths, or whatever you want to call it. And they actually had gamification as you put on, as in this case, you entered the LifeLab immersively through VR, but you could then, see your new Gillette razor, which was paired with the Bugatti, a car, and so you drove the car, and then you could look at the razor blade coming together and why it was superior to the competitors. And it was a big fun game of running a race track with a Bugatti and a Gillette razor. And on the Oral-B side and Crest, no kid likes to brush their teeth. And what P&G had done is they made a big fun game out of, I think they called them the bubbly guys. Attack the cavity creeps is what they call it. Attack the cavity creeps. And all the kids were like, yeah, let's attack the cavity creeps. And they started brushing their teeth. So not only will they have the ability to take the glasses, Tim, and look and learn either in the store or at home, but they could have fun and have a gamification component either in the store or at home. I mean, and Procter & Gamble, being who they are and a fun company, is primed to make that an important point as well.
Yeah, and I do believe that what we're watching right now is you think of Procter & Gamble and they're just a giant company, but they're not standing still. And that's what intrigues me because, you're talking about them from 1838 to today. But here's a company that along the way took advantage of whatever technology was there, whether it be in developing products, using it for how they do packaging, etc. And it's going to be really fun watching, especially this company, because this one is people are going to relate to that even faster than some of the other stuff that's going to be done in AR glasses, because they're going to be able to tie something that Procter & Gamble has to the buying process, and then for lack of a better term, the onboarding process, how to use it properly and why it's important. And with that, unfortunately, we've run out of time. So Barton, thank you again for sharing your research and your thoughts about Procter & Gamble. And for those of you who've joined us, thank you again for being with us, and we look forward to being with you again soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Success in the Virtual World. Tim and Barton offer 4 services to help your company launch, implement, or improve your AI and spatial computing efforts. First, AI and spatial computing customized executive briefing to ensure your executive team is knowledgeable and aligned on which AI and spatial computing initiatives to pursue. Second, AI and spatial computing strategy and implementation roadmap to ensure you remain competitive and successful in your AI and spatial computing efforts. Third, AI and spatial computing proof of concept deliverable to demonstrate to internal executive and external partners and customers the art of the possible. And fourth, AI and spatial computing quarterly advisory briefings to keep your executive team up to date on the latest AI and spatial computing technologies, new use cases, and ideas for your AI and spatial computing program. If you are interested in any of these services, please contact us at contact@ismguide.com. The AI and Spatial Computing Resource Center website can also be found at ismguide.com.